we fail quite a bit to be successful, to be leaders in our field, to be worth an iota of your attention spans while we're in front of the class.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the best MBA podcast in the world, Get to B School. This is your host, Drex, and I'm thankful that you're here. It's so fun to be back. I know the episodes have been a little bit more sporadically spaced, and things are just busy. Things are great, but they're busy, and it's meant that I haven't had as much time to dedicate to these conversations as I would like. It's a bummer, but things are just, only so many hours in a day. And these conversations, though, I value them. I'm so grateful for everyone who's participating. A special thank you this week to Paul Clancy, because he was the man behind the curtain for this episode. So he introduced me to Anthony Palomba, and it was such a fun conversation. Whatever you're doing right now, Anthony is going to make you want to drop it and just go straight to Darden. So I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. The people at Darden know what they're doing. It just sounds like a very fun environment, very uplifting environment. It was a very fun conversation. Grateful to Paul, grateful for Anthony, and I hope you like it. We're going to jump right to the episode. But before we do, a couple of quick call outs. If you are looking for a coach, check out the link in the show notes for great MBA coaches or any career coaches at Leland. They have, a fantastic library of professionals. If you're looking for free info sessions to learn a little bit more about certain spaces, specifically business school or IB, consulting, whatever, check out the other link in the show notes. And Leland's always offering free resources. It's just fantastic what they do. It's been really helpful to me personally, and I would love if you let them know that we sent you. Besides that, the usual requests, if you know someone who should be on the show, or if you should be on the show, please reach out. I love it when you do. If you haven't already, consider leaving a 5-star review, please. It helps the show, and it validates my own emotions. So it helps me feel a little bit better about how I'm spending my time. And I just need that validation, you guys. I need it. The last and most important thing is, if there's anything that I can do or that the team can do for you, please reach out. I love it when you do. And it really just adds to the fact that this is more than conversations. All right. I said we're going to jump right to the episode. So let's do it. Let's get to the good part now with Anthony Palomba. Anthony, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Drexler, my absolute pleasure. I'm so thrilled to speak to you.
This is a pleasure. And it is a pleasure due to Paul Clancy's goodwill. Grateful to Paul for making that introduction. How do you know Paul?
I know Paul through teaching data storytelling, in fact, with him and him kind of begging to be in the class, and he nailed it. He absolutely crushed it. And I think he's coming to Brazil with me on like a Darden worldwide class trip. I can't shake him. He's months from graduating. I can't shake the guy, but he is an absolute sweetheart. I think the world of him.
Well, he said similar things about you. I've said it before off camera, but you Darden people, it seems like such a fun program over there filled with tremendous people. It's really, really great.
I think it's the way they filter the Virginia water, but that's your thing.
So there's a lot to get through today, and we're going to be quick about it. But it would be remiss if I didn't ask you about this crazy education background that you have. If there's a degree, you have it. So I was looking at your LinkedIn. You've got a PhD, you've got a master's, you got an MBA. You're going to school right now. What's going on over there?
I mean, some sort of addiction or maybe undiagnosed illness that I'm not aware of. Neither are my ancestors, for that matter. I did my bachelor's degree in history and poli-sci, thinking I was going to be an entertainment lawyer. Graduated in 2009, right in the heart of the recession, and then read a New York op-ed piece that said, we should be closing down lower tier law schools. And I said, well, what does that mean for the 1Ls? So that terrified me. And then I looked at business school tuition and I just said, And so then I kind of had to really think strategically, am I doing a PhD in business media? I opted for media, came to Darden years later after my graduation. And, it's an itch that I wanted to scratch, man. I begin to see the stellar work people do, and you aspire to that. Can I be most outstanding faculty member? I won that. Can I win poets and quants? I won that. I'm hoping to win a Case Award this year. I'm hoping to get into top business journals in the next few years. It's less to brag, but more like, holy cow, I've been given the keys to an amazing place. I better squeeze every drop of juice out of this, Drexler, or I'm going to hate myself. So all of that drive came from that. And currently I'm doing an MS in Eco. economics. It's my second one, and I will be done because my wife will leave me and my 9-month-old will probably leave me as well. So I need to be careful, but it's all in the good nature of being a good steward, truthfully.
I love that mentality. And it's beautiful to see that it's kind of transitioning to still being an amazing steward, but over a different set of responsibilities. Congratulations on becoming a new father. That's awesome.
It is the most rewarding thing. Although I will tell you, when you have a child, you quickly realize how ugly other people's kids are. And nobody and it is amazing what you begin to notice. And like, some people aren't trying. Like, what is going on? I'm teasing.
You're teasing, but my wife and I would agree with you. Our children are beautiful, even when, I won't share more. But there have been times where we look back on certain newborn photos and we're like, our children are beautiful, right? They are.
That alien Sigourney Weaver moment where the alien comes out and you're like, this is from my genetic, DNA, as it were. But, then things begin to humanize a bit.
I want to double click a little bit on that Poets and Quan Award. Why are you getting these awards? What's your kind of philosophy around approaching teaching?
I mean, I think they're running out of people to give awards to, which is the answer. I mean, truthfully, Drexler, I see myself as a coach. I don't see myself as a faculty member. I see myself as a coach. My philosophy is students come to class and we are going to do 40-yard dashes. We're going to run through walls. We're going to click buttons. We're actually going to do stuff. We're going to suffer. We're going to be pissed. We're going to be frustrated, whether it's with ThinkCell and Tableau or some of the machine learning dashboards I have in media and entertainment business, which is the other class I teach. ThinkCell and Tableau, of course, being for data storytelling. I'm a big proponent of students just clicking buttons. I want you guys practicing skills, and I like giving feedback. Every class is the best day of my life. I really do try to have that mindset and that feel. I know students go through hell. I know you guys are rolling a $200,000 pair of die in thinking about your future, and everything has to be amazing. Truthfully, everything has to be amazing. I'm never 100% satisfied with anything either. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to be cutting edge. I regularly tell my students, I don't know anything. Don't tell anyone. Sometimes I don't know what to do with you guys. And so I am very vulnerable, very transparent, and it's been great. It's just been great to learn from everybody. Darden it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, man. I mean, you can go as far as your own imagination, and I wholeheartedly believe that.
Just hearing you talk, it's love it. It's infectious, the energy that you bring to the table. But B, it's very apparent why Paul wants us to chat, why he wants your voice on the podcast, and why you're getting these awards, these faculty awards, Best MBA Faculty Member. As people come to you considering Darden, what are you telling them about Darden specifically? Come to Darden if fill in the blank.
Yeah, come to Darden if you want to come to class. I think that for a lot of students, there's this kind of thing where, the MBA, it's a vanity degree, it's a sexy handbag, and I'm going to go just get it just to get it, and I'm going to be done with it. And you can have that mindset, and I suppose you can do that. But good grief, it's a lot of money. And it's a lot of money that you're paying an HR department, essentially, to just pair you with really smart people. I mean, you could do that for a lot less. Why not learn something? So at Darden, we have class discussions. We push each other. Students push me. I push them. I am great because of my students. It is an environment that is always looking to support you. What do you need? We will be there for you. There is a group, there is a collective that is there to share your particular interests. And, you will be challenged as a cognitive thinker. Every day you need to be on point, which frankly, you're going to have to be anyway as a consultant or iBanker or tech person or wherever you're going. So why not start now at Darden?
Makes perfect sense. Let's take it to a subset of people. While you were talking, I was thinking about the growing number of people that I talk to who don't know exactly what they need. I love that you said, what do you need? We'll help you get it. There's a group out there that doesn't really know. They're going to business school to explore and to try and figure that out. How do you help them?
I think thinking about their heart and mind and their soul, and I'm not going to bust out granola from San Francisco, so don't worry. Like this does have some logic behind it. We're not going to get crunchy just yet. If you think about your mind is built around tools. I use Python, I use SQL, I teach Tableau, I teach ThinkCell. What is your toolkit that you are leaving with from the business program? So that's number one. Do you want to be an Excel god? Do you want to be a Tableau warrior? I do think thinking about that is critical. The other thing is for your heart. And so you might think to yourself, how you connect with other people. Do you want to get better at public speaking, presenting, having a higher macro awareness of how others feel? So really being able to read a room well, business school will give you that. And then of course there is your soul. Like, what are you missing? Because we don't come to business school just to indulge more. We're also filling gaps and needs. So where do you see opportunities for growth in yourself? I also try to position it as concentric circles. So everybody has an MBA. That's a big, big circle. Great. What's a smaller circle that you are just in and other people aren't? And let's keep going. And I've done this exercise with a number of students until we get to the one-of-one, Natalie, John, a Paul Clancy, if you will, a Drexler Tanner, right? When you begin to think about that, like for me, I'm a PhD, who cares? Well, PhD in media, it's a little bit sexier. I have an MS in eco. Okay, so now I'm really shrinking the pie. I use Python, I use machine learning and econometrics. And before there's a snooze fest, I'll stop there. But that is how you begin to think through, how can I align myself to really meet what I would argue my own field is an absolute need, be it industry, be it academia, which hopefully makes me interesting and cutting edge for students. But I do think it's the concentric circles, your mind, your heart, and your soul. If you can begin to think along those frameworks, you'll get to an answer.
I want to just make sure that I'm understanding. So your mind, your heart, and your soul. The mind is the skills that you learn. Do you want to be like, what do you really want to pick up? The heart is the connections that you make. And then the soul is where you're growing. Where do you want to grow?
Holistic journey. Yeah. Which you talk about, you may not talk about, but it's internal. Yeah.
Man. Okay. I love how structured that is. It's just digestible. Love that. What are some common pitfalls that you're seeing in your students?
Well, here's the thing, and this is like and I'm not trying to skirt the issue, but like pamphlets are shiny, Drexler. Have you read a pamphlet for business school? They're so friggin' shiny and laminated. And you see these employment reports and you're like, man, I could work at McKinsey or Bain or, an iBank or, venture capital or whatever. And, it's a roll of the die. And I think for some students, either they're prepared for the arduous journey that lays ahead of them, or, there's also, you are competing against people who did their undergrad in business or in STEM. And so I think sometimes is difficult to align expectations with, what winds up happening. And this is difficult. And like we all experience failure. I mean, so have I. I've not always crushed in my life for sure. But I think that is something some students go through. And then there's a bit of a tailspin that goes on that like, well, why am I even here? And we don't want to get to that point because there's a ton of reasons why you're here. And even if you don't get McKinsey, like it really in the grand scheme of life does not matter. And there are so many different ways to pivot. But I think that students struggle with that initial rejection. And I can tell you, it's like clockwork every January, February. You see it on the faces of students and it breaks your heart. It breaks mine every year.
I'm grateful that you would say that. It's just raw, but extremely helpful because there is that glamour from the outside looking in. Like you only see the people who do exactly the people who start, these amazing companies while they're in school, or these people who do land at the MBB, or whatever we deem as the best option, the best outcome. We only see those who reach that. And that's not everyone.
The other side of that briefly, Drexler, because I'd like to get to your next question, is I think students don't realize how valuable their own brands are. That, it is hot to have the latest hot bag right now or outfit or whatever it is. But remember, Darden's going to fade away. So will Kellogg, so will Wharton. Like they will be nice to have. I'm not certainly knocking these institutions. But remember, people are going to say, well, whoa, Drexler, he gave that you see that presentation? They're not going to look up, oh, but wait a minute, is he from Wharton? Like that will fade. It will be a nice to have. It will pique some people's interests. And I bark this at students, like on your tombstones, it will not read Darden. You will not go to your internships with Darden on your shirt. You better not. Your own personal brand is far more valuable over the lifetime. And listen, I'm guilty of it as well. Like school brands that are sexy, but I do think we have to be careful about the overindulgence of school brands that rely on us more at times than we rely on them. And I think there just needs to be a healthier balance there in understanding our own self-worth.
Excellent. That begs the question then, when should people not go to school? If it really is about the personal brand, your personal just ethic, what you can get done, why should anyone go to business school?
It's a good question. For me, my first knee-jerk reaction is, are you switching careers, right? Because then you kind of do need to go on Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, right? It's a little bit Luke Skywalker. Like, you kind of have to go through some stuff if you are going to pivot. If you're pivoting out of consulting, if you'd like to get into consulting, certainly learning a new field and its skills and a way to think is critical here. Additionally, you may not be a career switcher. Maybe you do want to grow, but I do think carefully analyzing and thinking through, like, what classes am I taking advantage of? Like, getting aggressive, right? You don't want to take in an MBA like you would just watching television. You want to take it in as you're playing video games, right? And I think that's kind of the mindset. Be active, click buttons, like, make sure you're squeezing stuff out, because business school is paid whether or not you get what you want out of it. And so I think knowing how far you are willing to push yourself, challenge, and fail, you really should have a conversation with yourself. Are you willing to fail? Are you willing to look like an ass at times in front of other students just to get better? Not worrying about the short-term damage that your ego might take, but more importantly, I'm trying, I'm failing, and I'm learning.
Something that reminds me of, and something that admittedly I struggle with, is I find that I'm often trying not to lose rather than just trying to win. And I love that you're kind of calling this out in this Why Go to B School response.
I think if you want an arena to constantly lose in and be challenged in, which frankly is the way towards success, that's what you want. You want a gymnasium where you are constantly beating yourself up with love, hopefully not, we don't want it too bad, but you want to gain swells, man. That's you want to get swollen, right? Like, this is what we're in for. We're here for reps. That's the goal here. And I think if you can structure a path before you go to B school, you'll be more successful. Even if it fails, even if it doesn't go the way that you want it to, it doesn't matter. You've already put in the foresight and you've done the proper planning.
Again, highlighting, this is just like a therapy session. You're highlighting another issue that I've been trying to work on more, which is intentionality. It's like, yes, you might fail, but you are being intentional. You're putting the forethought into it. Oh, Anthony, this is great. We're going to close with the last question. What are you telling MBA students who are in their programs or young professionals just out of their programs? What's a parting piece of advice that you have for them?
Be undeniable to yourself. When I graduated from my PhD program, it took me 100 applications in 4 years to get to Darden. I've been rejected from NBC jobs. I've been rejected from UConn. I was rejected from Boston University's College of Communication, which I desperately wanted. I've been rejected from a lot of jobs. I am regularly rejected from academic journals. I worked on 2 pitches last year for consulting. I failed. I didn't get either. I eventually got one. When you are undeniable to yourself, the barriers that you think are in front of you erode over time, just like the ebb and flow of the ocean. There is erosion. It is a corrosive agent, and you eventually beat back the demons that are in your head, that are lurking in your mind and telling you that you're not enough. Absolutely be undeniable to yourself. And the second piece of advice always is when I go to DC, there's the Happy Eatery, which is a Vietnamese place. And inside they have everything you have is inside of you, which I take exception to because I wouldn't be there if I had everything that I wanted, right? I'm in there for a Vietnamese role. I take exception to that. But I absolutely believe everything you need is inside of you. You may not feel it at times. And don't think for a second that I'm going to go off to my shiny life after this. I have had plenty of failure recently. I will have more in front of me. But I think remembering those 2 pieces of advice are critical. We don't like to talk about failure. Profs usually don't. Students don't really know what we do, which is fine. But we fail quite a bit to be successful, to be leaders in our field, to be worth an iota of your attention spans when we're in front of the class.
Just kudos to the tremendous raw authenticity. Okay. Wow. We have covered so much ground. This is probably normal for you. I love doing this podcast because it's these conversations. Anthony, we'll let you go. We'll get off here, but thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure, Drexler. Thank you very much. That's how it feels. You keep, hopefully you keep banging your head against the wall and hopefully you get something, right? We're all panning for gold. So